Hello, my name is Leandro Paladino. In case you don't know me, I'm based in the city of La Plata in Argentina. I'm a passionate teacher educator, and every year I look for different ways in which to help teachers and different professionals involved in language and education to boost their skills. Last year, 2024, I tried a format of meeting teachers live twice a month, which worked quite well. And I'm intending to repeat that format, even if the contents and the approach may vary. And I'm recording this little video to let you have a bit of information about these courses to complement it with the information that you've probably seen on social media. This is the presentation. The first important thing to say is that 50% of the syllabus is, if you will, marked by me, indicated by me, and my ideas of our profession. And the other 50%, if we can be mathematical about it, is yours. It's your interests and your needs. The three tiers that mark the work, and we come and go between the three. It's not that we do one per month or one per term. Language on the one hand, then methodology or pedagogies, as we know, sometimes pluralize words like these, and then areas that are not necessarily related to teaching, but that are still related to languages and education. As a simple example of the sort of even myth debunking that I like to do on these courses, I ask teachers to complete that sentence. How would you complete the blank? Verbs cannot be used in the progressive. What answer would you give? I'm sure you're thinking of words like state or stative or mentor, etc. And then along comes McDonald's with this "I'm loving it" slogan. What do we say about it? Is it an exception? Is it informal? Is it American? Well, none of the three, really. The answer is a bit more complex than that. And it's just one of many examples that might sometimes lead you to think, are books wrong? It may sound a bit dramatic to say that books are wrong, but sometimes they present things in a straitjacket sort of manner, as if language were more strict and more mathematical than it really is. And there are many such examples like this that we can analyze throughout our work together. When teachers come along and say, I've seen this in a book, I've seen this somewhere. Is this really so true? Is this changing in any way? If this is grammar, we can give a quick example from Lexis. When I ask teachers which of the two ways is better in order to organize phrasal verbs, of course, another one could be by topic, and that's always an excellent choice. You know, phrasal verbs to talk about work, to talk about money, to talk about the home, etc. That's always great. But if it's a toss-up between these two, teachers usually give the wrong answer. Oh, there, I've said it wrong. Similarly, if we talk about pronunciation and I ask teachers which of the two groups of sounds to prioritize and why, because the important question is why, again, the answer is usually not the right one or not for the right reasons. So this is just to give an example of these three language systems: grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation, that we're always talking about. Plus, again, going beyond and talking about the interconnectedness of the three, and also adding extra layers like what happens with appropriateness, what happens with the socio-pragmatics of language, what happens with the question of power, critical views that even from low levels and young ages, we should try and incorporate into our language classes. So in a nutshell, the language tier means, are you interested in improving your own command of the language, even if you're a native speaker of English, but still the insight into the language may be something that you're interested in developing, even if you're a native speaker of the language. And clearly, if you're a non-native speaker of the language, teachers often say, I feel my English is a bit rusty. I would like to improve my vocabulary a bit more. I sometimes use expressions that I feel are a bit old or stilted, etc. Idioms, another big topic to problematize because in real discourse, many idiomatic expressions are not nearly as common as we may think that they are. Then how can we critique our language views? How many myths are there? How many facts and tips can we discuss in relation to the actual language, which is the essence of much of what we do? How can we analyze our materials? How can we critique our materials, even if not criticize, but at the very least critique? And what about our own creation of materials, which leads us nicely into the second tier, which would be methodology and pedagogies? Can we discuss new, alternative, fun, technology-based, AI-based ways into doing grammar and lexis and pronunciation and linking those areas more and more, not the separate index as books would have it, understandably, because books need to be organized in some way. But, grammar is one thing and lexis is another thing and pronunciation is another thing. But it's really not like that, is it, in actual language use? So how can we look at language from a multi-skills, multimodal perspective? If you think of a basic Instagram story and how much it can contain, actual linguistic elements, musical elements, artistic elements, a small work of multimodal art that Instagram stories are. So multimodal, critical, intercultural, digital, how many adjectives are there that can collocate with words like literacies and pedagogies and citizenships? I forgot to add there. So critical, citizenship, digital literacies, multimodal pedagogies. We can combine a set of adjectives with a set of nouns, which together with gender issues, together with sustainability, green issues, it can be quite daunting. Have you ever stopped to think about it in recent years? How many new models and constructs we're supposed to try to incorporate in the English classroom in a CLIL-like manner, if you will. And that can really be quite daunting when you say, I've only got 2 hours a week with my students. Well, part of our job will be to discuss how you can do grammar work and digital literacies at the same time. How can you do lexical work? And again, connecting grammar and lexis and phonology with intercultural competence that you are instilling with your students. So killing several birds with the same task, sequence, or lesson plan. And we come back to the idea of materials. Let's stay critical of our books. Let's stay critical of the materials that other people design, and how can we design our own as well. And when you start thinking beyond teaching, well, this third tier knows no boundaries. The sky is the limit when it comes to thinking about any discussion we can have, like what sort of postgraduate studies you can do, masters, licenciatura, etc. I love to make it part of our discussion. Things like, is it my moment to do it? Then which one can I choose? Long distance, face to face, in Spanish, in English, bilingual, etc., etc. Would you like to write materials? Would you like to create contents for social media for your students? Would you like to become a blogger? Would you like to publish? Would you like to edit? Would you like to make presentations in conferences? Would you like to prepare your own workshops? To a very large extent, I include my own personal experience, of course, because looking back, I see how generous our profession can be in terms of so many different paths. And having been a language academy owner, having been a director, having had quite a lot of roles of supervision, I like to make it our job and try to give you a little nudge in the direction of moving outside of your comfort zone and sort of coaching you into seeing what possibilities there are and what you feel like doing, and how the group, the community of practice that we become, can help you to think about your next steps in your career, whether it be in teaching or elsewhere. So, as you may have seen, we meet twice a month. At the moment of recording this, end of March 2025, I'm organizing Friday mornings, Friday, 10 a.m. Argentina time, twice a month on alternate weeks, every other Friday. I might generate at least one other course, but the important thing is that I am planning to assign a maximum of 5 asynchronous vacancies, apart from the maximum of 10 synchronous vacancies that I always generate for each course. This is a slightly new feature of this year, really, because a couple of the teachers have told me I can't make it Friday morning. But last year, every time I couldn't be present in the live session, I watched the recording later, and it was very useful. I learned a lot. In fact, then they sent me questions and we still interacted despite the fact that they had not been live in the session. Why a maximum of 5 vacancies? Because I want those asynchronous participants to also send questions, and those questions will still be answered or addressed during the live session. So if Maria is working or is at college or whatever at the time when we meet live, we can still say, well, guys, let's discuss this question that Maria has. Let's look at this material that Maria is using. So we'll talk about it and we'll actually address Maria, hello, during the session. So there's only so many people that can participate in this alternative format. So whether it be the synchronous sessions that you're interested in, if you'd like to book a spot for the Friday 10 a.m. Course, or whether you're interested in other timetables, you can also contact me to see if at the time you get in touch with me, there are other live timetables that you can join, or else if you want to give the asynchronous version a try, then I'm here to answer any question you may have. I always give optional tasks and reading in between sessions, so that if you only want to enjoy the 90 minutes every 2 weeks, then that's fine. That's your choice. But depending on the topic and depending on how your month is going, month after month, you may have the time and the willingness to do additional reading, additional thinking, and additional contact with me in between the sessions. If you saw information about this on social media, you're likely to have seen these slides. That's the different ways that you can follow me and be in touch and contact me if you'd like to ask me questions or register for these 2025 mentoring courses that it gives me so much pleasure to give. Thank you for watching.